ESEA Open is a land of interesting matches and interesting opportunities, and also perhaps a chance to see some of the players who will make it to the higher echelon of the ESEA League, and I'm here to try to take you through it. Good evening, everybody. My name is Ito, and tonight we're going to be covering East Coast Gaming versus Purring Prowlers, two teams of which I'm starting to kind of situate myself with a little bit more now. Considering that Purring Prowlers, they've only had one loss this season, and it was a 16-9 loss against Savants, and actually just their last game a couple of days back. East Coast Gaming, though, it's been smooth sailing for them, have yet to lose a game just yet, though, but that being said, they have actually only played 5 games. They actually had a forfeit win versus, I can't exactly remember the team off the top of my head. I know the name had Hentai in it, which is always pretty funny. I feel like I should remember that name a little bit better, but nonetheless, East Coast Gaming, they've had a flawless season so far, and Purring Prowlers obviously looking to ruin that record just a little bit. Now we'll be starting off on the T side, maybe trying to cause a little bit of damage onto East Coast Gaming early on in this round, but overall it looks like they're going to be setting up for a B execute. Nothing too crazy so far, but 2 smokes and 3 flashes across 2 players really does seem like they're just going to go ahead and just try to barrel out over towards this site. 3 players soon at the ready. You see Lift, not quite rotating all the way over yet, is finally going to get his cue to pop his way over. And speaking of popping, the flash will pop through, and I mean, really, the T's are just walking into these shots here. AJ, I mean, I thought he would have a bit of a harder time dealing with all these T's, but he's not even getting contested. He's eaten, I think, 1 bullet only for 1 damage here, but the kills are just overwhelmingly going the way of East Coast Gaming at the moment, with only 2 kills going the way of Gable at the moment. His teammate will pick one up as well. This actually becomes a little bit more of a winnable clutch because of that, but unfortunately, a 1 versus 2 is a bit too much for him to handle, and 2 kills will spell the end of his run for that first round. So, 1 to see our East Coast Gaming get off to a pretty nice start on D2. Also important to mention that this is going to be a best of 1, so this is going to be the only map that we're going to be seeing these 2 teams on today, but who knows if they'll be meeting each other later on, perhaps in playoffs, because again, these teams have a pretty solid record so far. Nothing really outstanding, but I mean 6-0, that's pretty great for East Coast Gaming to have, despite that forfeit win that they have under their belt. That being said, though, against this anti-eco, Purring Prowlers can't really seem to find much of anything, and ECG are just able to deal with all of these pistols without any hesitation whatsoever. Although they will siphon an MP9 into the hands of Speed, being able to actually do something with it is a different situation entirely, and Hornet will make it so I don't even have to worry. Now Nana against 4 here. We'll just try to cause some more damage. It actually finds a great shot onto Lift. Puts things in a little bit more of a comfortable situation for them, but still nigh impossible. Doesn't have the bomb in their hand here, and yeah, I mean, they literally jumped into their death right there. Anticlimactic, but I mean, that's just kind of the nature of pistol rounds sometimes here. You're not always going to see something absurd here. I mean, the fact that they actually got a kill or 2 out of that, you know, that's something to be proud of in of itself. Just not really something you're going to add into your frag highlights either. Now full investment through from the T side here. East Coast Gaming with 2 M4s to bring, or actually 3 M4s, excuse me, to bring to the table with 2 MP9s. Means that they actually stand a pretty decent chance against a full AK buy here, although those MP9s could be a little bit of a, what's the word for it? Liability, I think might be an appropriate phrase for it. We'll still try to make do with what they can. Now, the Prowlers, no, I mean, they seem to be going for a mid-B split, but they've hesitated. They've chosen to cancel for the time being here, maybe prodding for a little bit more information. It is a bit early in the round. They can definitely wait for something a little bit more. Ball every day. Soon to be going for aggression over towards long here. Checking for that Zipic spot. But all the players now siphoning their way out over towards mid-B. It's really going to be on Hornet and AJ to hold this one down here. AJ is in a perfect situation to deal with it as well, although they switch it up. They take it actually in a different direction entirely, bringing it over towards the tunnels instead, leaving 1 lurking on Cat. Make it actually 2. Kind of a 2-pronged push, doesn't exactly scream confidence, in my opinion here, but maybe they can make it work nonetheless. Have burned a decent amount of time off the clock. Evelonite? I think that's what it's supposed to be. Evelonite will eventually meet up with his comrades over towards B here, and nearly gets given a frag here. Luckily, the trade is through. Numbers actually go overwhelmingly the way of Purring Prowlers at the moment as they end up getting the site just based off of that crazy timing. I mean, you can see in the chat as well, they basically saved each other's backs there just by being able to trade out just like that. Now 3 versus 4 for a retake here. Zero chance, really. It feels like the CTs are going to be able to get away with this one here. It's so overwhelmingly hard, to take over that B bomb site here. Retake is so tough just because the angles where the CTs can, or the Ts rather, can just kind of bunker up makes it so difficult to actually do, especially with a man down. So saving their guns, they'll go ahead and keep things passive. They'll be happy with the guns that they have saved. 2 players strong, and Purring Prowlers get their first on the board. Really does kind of feel like a bit of that came down to just really good lucky timing. You know, I mean, obviously fair play to Purring Prowlers. They were able to actually capitalize on those kills, and they did take it slow, you know, trying to look for info over towards Cat in particular. But the fact that they basically just caught out AJ as he was jumping into window. Flippy, what do you mean? These are the same camera angles I've used for months now. Whatever. What I'm really trying to say here is that Purring Prowlers, they got really lucky right there. That being said, it's more than just getting lucky that actually got them that round. Being able to get gifted a round also really helps the situation, doesn't it? Now going to be going for a similar setup as the last round. I feel like for games like this, it just kind of fits. Not too high tech, not too crazy. Purring Prowlers, they're also going to go ahead and try to not make things too high tech. Tossing down a little bit of util as they seem to be wanting to wiggle their way up towards Catwalk. They have players again spread up all over the map. Going for a standard default, really nothing breaking the bank so far, but it doesn't have to either. Right now, it's just kind of a waiting game. No kills given to them for free means that they just actually have to fully execute onto the site here. East Coast Gaming will be at the ready, but being able to actually deal with it is a different question entirely. They seem to be doing great so far in the quiz. If they're able to take down all the members within a couple of seconds, they will pass with flying colors. The only one standing in their way will be Gable, who's quickly snuffed out. 3 to 1. This game has gone by quicker than I imagined. Considering that we're only 5 rounds in, I have to say, not too shabby whatsoever. A little bunker down into ESEA Open is actually proving to be a little more inspiring than I would have thought. Teams are actually playing it slow for the most part, going for full-on executes, but obviously nothing that you're going to see Astralis copy down. It was a good attempt from Purring Prowlers. The setup from East Coast Gaming was just that strong. Able to deal with it without much hesitation whatsoever. 5 pistols for Purring Prowlers, so really doesn't inspire confidence for them to actually get away with much of anything here. Mid B has been a pretty decent ride for them so far. It's how they got that first round and their only round. And, well, although they're given a shot at doing it again, Hornet will quickly snuff it out. A 4K already. He wants to make it an ace, and Lift will steal that away, but still a lovely little 4K as he sprays down every single pistol. Sure, they're pistol kills, but that's still going to be a dot clip from him, I'm sure. CTs continue to make things look pretty decent for them as they don't even get struck off guard, caught off guard, dare I say, by these lovely Prowlers in the mist. Number 6 coming through. This is going to be another one where I feel like Purring Prowlers are going to take it slow yet again. Probably going to be going for that thing that worked out for them last time, you know, keeping that slow default, having a player lurk up over towards Cat, and eventually go for that mid-B split. Hopefully that they can come across that frag onto AJ jumping out from window. What they do know now is that there is a player who always likes to peek over towards window into mid, into sight either. So they can go ahead and try to take advantage of that, if they get the chance. But the opportunity will actually come in a different fashion. It comes from AJ pushing out over towards Car. Same story with Hornet. That'll be a kill for Miami and Nana, plus a free bomb plant for them. Gonna ground ourselves to reality a little bit here. It's a bit of a messy execute, but I mean, hey, That's ESEA open for you. Evelynite is going to be peeking out for maybe a kill or two if he can possibly get away with it. Are they going for a save or a retake here? No way this is going to be a retake, right? They're just running with their guns out here. Okay, no, they are going to be saving it. There actually are going to be players walking into their crosshairs right here, but they're going to have to play it like a DM server if they want to get these kills. Unfortunately, Gable seems to be a little bit more ready for it, as he will find him lion's share of the kills in the round, and overall put Purring Prowlers onto a second. So, you know, all's not lost. Those B executes definitely seem to be more of their strong suit. It's how they've gotten their 2 rounds so far, and really they have no reason to change up that pace whatsoever. When it comes to actually dealing with it, though, that is a bit of a different situation. I think they have the right idea. East Coast Gaming, I mean, a Molotov would be pretty monumental for actually shutting out that push. But they're going to go ahead and take a different approach to it yet again, bringing out double AWPs pretty early on into the half. Not exactly sure how I feel about this one here, but, I mean, hey, they're the ones who are 6-0, not me. Standard default again. They'll be flashing through mid here, trying to find some free information if they're going to get lucky. Gambling upon a push over towards B. It'll actually be AJ getting punished. That was one of the AWPs, too. How do you lose that to a Galil? I don't exactly know, but that is terrible, terrible news for East Coast Gaming. That means that they're going to be down a player, and really, that means Purring Prowlers in particular can take this wherever they want. Hornet will get a kill, and again, there's a team knife coming through. I saw one a bit earlier, but I didn't want to make note of it because I didn't feel like it was that game-changing. But this one is much, much more important, much more vital to avoid. And while luckily they're going to be avoiding danger by finding kills, surely another one walking into their crosshairs. Again, Hornet peeking out from window, nearly loses his life, but stays alive for the most part. For the most part, I mean, almost entirely. He's only tagged down to about 78 points of health. A round will meet its closure eventually. For some reason, just it's a very extended fight over towards mid. Purring Prowlers didn't seem to exactly find their destination whatsoever here, and they kind of took their time to actually close up that map control if they possibly could. I'm not sure if it was util or something. Mac, how did you die? I don't really understand how Mac died there, but let's just chalk that up to the magic and wonder of the ESEA Open sometimes. Why don't we? Round number 8 coming through here, and the CTs have managed to make it relatively comfortable so far. I mean, it hasn't been anything that has, again, really broken the bank, anything that has been completely crazy so far, but they don't need it. Purring Prowlers, I mean, for the most part, they've kind of been hit or miss on the sites that they're actually taking. When they seem to extend for those fights a little bit more over towards mid, they seem to struggle. But something like this, mid-B, might be a good idea, but they have a player out in the open that just could not be traded out. Poor Evelynite just immediately gets snuffed. There's no one there to even cause a disturbance in the force over at mid. Although, teammate Speed will take a bit of damage over towards mid. Pretty much anything that Purring Prowlers got out of that is siphoned away by giving up that kill. AJ won't be second bested yet again. We'll find that first AWP kill. Round surely to go the way of East Coast Gaming at the moment, as this has been a very anticlimactic eco for the T side. I mean, realistically, what are their chances at the moment? When you're down 2 players, the most you can hope for is just have a good pop flash and get the bomb down, try to play from there, but the chances of that actually working are nigh impossible. You're going to have to find at least some kill. You're going to have to make a big play, really. There's the flash that I was mentioning coming through. Mac has been very, very strong on this angle, though, so I'm not particularly worried. And even if things were to go wrong, there's another player out there ready. Who else but Lift? Again, it's a slow finish, but that's just the nature of eco rounds sometimes. It's looking real good for East Coast Gaming. And, I mean, despite Purring Prowlers finding 2 rounds off their success over towards B, they seem to be wanting to finish over towards Cat a lot of the time, and I mean, they're just kind of giving up a few places of the map vitally. I like that slow default that they're doing for the most part, as they ended up finding decent enough success with it. Even in the rounds that they lost, they made at least somewhat competitive. But in recent history, it's been a little bit more one-sided. Smoke over towards double. That's just actually real good for information too. Gable might realize that there's going to be someone pushing behind it. This is something that East Coast Gaming have not done so far. That should, like, you know, send off some sirens, some alerts that, hey, maybe the CTs are doing something different this time around if they're going to be smoking doors, something they have not done once. Be careful for ball every day. Because he's been lingering in this position. Usually hasn't had to use 2 smokes of the CT side to actually bunker himself in that position. Can't really be traded out easily either, so it is a bit of gamble. They have to be careful of that. Seeming a bit angsty, though. Wanting to push out over towards A. Might meet their demise very, very soon. Lift, again, is not at the ready. I'm not sure how the CTs are going to be able to deal with this one. It is a little bit awkward, but I'm sure they'll be able to deal with it without too much issue. For now, though, cat push will come up from Purring Prowlers here. Spam actually on the ball every day is pretty decent. Gives away his position, but he can just molly it and try to back up. But as he's trying to back out, Gable will be there to put a bullet into his head. Now pushing up from cat, Purring Prowlers. That is much more like the execute I wanted to see from them. Dealing with a player who's close over towards long. That was absolutely necessary, to be honest. I mean, that's exactly why that spot is a little bit of a gamble on how smoking it out twice kind of gives away the position. I mean, smoking it once, that's one story, but twice just kind of gives away, okay, they gotta be close. It's a good look for them. I'm sure they'll be very, very happy with a flawless round like that. Definitely one of those rounds that I want to look over sometime and find out what they're doing over towards Cat to win it so successfully. I mean, really, they didn't have any struggles whatsoever actually pushing out onto the site itself, so suppose it was just a round almost gifted to them. ECG gladly will save those guns, though, and live for another day. As the T's now put themselves on half the score of the CTs. They're overall in a pretty okay position. Not crazy, you know, not something to write home about, but it's definitely workable. In recent times, I'm not exactly sure if D2 is even T-sided that much anymore. I mean, it definitely was for the the entirety of the Krieg meta, just because the Krieg was so damn good. But in recent times, I'm not sure how much has exactly changed up. I'm still kind of seeing similar things, so not that meta exactly matters all too much. This is the ESEA Open after all. We have to really be aware of the fact that this is not Astralis versus Na'Vi that we're looking at. You know, this is, at the end of the day, a 5-1 open team versus a 6-0 open team, so we have to be realistic with what we can expect out of these matches sometimes. It's been a fun watch so far. Haven't even had to see any crazy plays come through, and for the most part, I mean, both teams are being relatively careful with the presence that they're showing over towards parts of these maps. You see Mac will actually take over where Ball every day was playing, and not even going to be hiding by long anymore, just sitting in pit. Sitting in pit, I should say. Hey, look at this, Evlenite. He's going to be pushing out mid-B here. Another mid-B split perhaps coming through from the Prowlers. And look at that. Evlenite, he can just kind of read what AJ wants to do at this point here. It's either been AJ or Hornet prodding out through window here. Smoked off CT means that this is a perfect take for the T's to actually have as they're trying to just really make this round number 4 theirs. They really don't meet much complications whatsoever here. Surprisingly, the CTs have made at least somewhat of an argument back into this round here, but again, it's the B-bomb site that they're going to have to retake. And, I mean, with only one kit to play with, a little bit of utility, a lot of this is going to be on Mac to actually make this a convincing take whatsoever. Pushing in, it'll actually be Lift first. Now, this is a player and tries to pull off the swag, but unfortunately he can't. Now it will be Ball every day pushing in next, but again, probably just running right into the firing range. And surprisingly, they're doing a lot more damage than I thought here. A Molotov would basically spell the end of this round here. Mac needs to get on the bomb. I guess Ball every day has picked up the kit, and I'll be damned. They actually get away with a retake. I pleasantly surprised. I didn't think they really had much of a chance of that, but Purring Prowlers kind of give up some of those kills. It's a bit strange to watch at time. What do you mean damned? I can say damned. That's a it's a religious word. Damnation. I think that was even like an ability in like Tales of Symphonia or something like that, right? I love that game. Anyway, unrelated. We head into another game that I love. You're right. I'm so sorry, Nate. How could I? How could I ever make that mistake? I still can't get over how Purring Prowlers lost that round. It was theirs in the bag after they found those initial kills, but I mean, great stuff by East Coast Gaming as well. Don't get me wrong. This time it's looking a lot more convincing as they're winning the initial fight, something that they've been struggling to do consistently. Makes actually winning the round ever more easier. Still having to split the defense, and a player spotted over towards long means that Ball Every Day can just kind of toss his nades out and cause a little bit of chaos to keep that player there. Meanwhile, ECG just tries to retake some of that map control that they have lost from that mid-B smoke coming out from Gable, who will actually be watching right behind it. Great little angle up from Mac here. This is absolutely perfect, although Hornet is really the player to watch at the moment here. He has a very tough challenge on his hands, made into an impossible one as he goes down. Control over the AWP as well to find the second kill, and for a 4 versus 3, made into a 4 versus 2. Somehow Purring Prowlers actually are the ones coming out on top of this round, and again, there's no rules to this game sometimes, excuse me. East Coast Gaming, they found that first kill in a very convincing fashion as well, had decent information on where the second was going to be located over towards long, and still they gave up the round just without getting much of anything done. Bit of a strange finish over towards the A bomb site, or towards CT as well, I have to say. But, you know, what can you do? He's just trying to save that AWP. If you miss a shot, it is always going to look okay. I don't like this whatsoever here. This should be an immediate B call from Purring Prowlers. Thank God for that camera angle, because that should have spotted exactly what ECG are trying for on this pistol round here. But surprisingly, they're still getting away with it. How has the bomb net been tossed out? Oh my lord, the bomb has actually been dropped, I think? Okay, no, it's been picked up. Why is it towards top mid? Why is it towards top mid? Oh my lord, that is the worst possible place it could have been. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't understand what's going on anymore. That was a absolute disaster of a round, I have to say. Purring Prowlers, they didn't see anybody cross mid. Like, literally 0 people cross mid. They could have just sent 5 people B and the round would have been over. Strange times indeed, but nonetheless it will be a round that they close out with only 2 guns dropped. I mean, that ECG still have a couple of more chances to get back into this half. I mean, I feel like 7 rounds is already definitely workable, but sure they can squeeze out a little bit more. Maybe not the round that it's going to happen, though, considering they don't have full-on guns, but they have something going for them, that's for sure. And I'm sorry, but that flash doesn't do anything. That nade, however, does. Okay, trying to watch for a quick spam over towards the door. Can't say when we're hiding right behind it. Unfortunately, not the right angle on the Ball Every Day. For now, though, Purring Prowlers, they have the world in the palm of their hand. They could go almost anywhere on the map at this point here. They've done a decent enough default where basically the only scary parts is mid. And also long as well, I suppose. But Catwalk is pretty much free for the taking as Evelynite is starting to figure out. Good shot from Speed. Definitely has the speed coming through into that shot here. Will be tried to be put down, but unfortunately no chance of it whatsoever here. Lift will be the only one to find a kill so far in this round, and perhaps even the only one to find a kill. Purring Prowlers overwhelmingly take over that B bomb site here. Evelynite quick on the flank. As soon as the smoke dissipates, so will the round for ECG here. Ball Every Day, how does he find another one though? This is starting to become a little bit scarier. I think Evelynite though, exactly. He has the key to this lock that Purring Prowlers have found themselves upon, as he's just going to collect eco-frag after eco-frag, and Speed will close it out. A triple for the man himself, too. Speed, he has been pretty consistent with that AWP so far. I mean, he's 10 and 8, top in the server, at least for his team. It's been kind of a quiet game, though. You haven't seen that many incredible, one-sided showings, no solo rounds off the back of one player. But I mean, hey, that's just how CS is sometimes. It doesn't always have to be this crazy adrenaline pumping, like insane 1 versus 4 clutch. Not everybody can be Benji over at ramps. Let me just put it that way. As ECG buy up yet again. This time they'll be going with a solo AWP after that double save. Surprised that their money is so poor, all things considered, but they did invest a decent amount into that last one, despite the lackluster results. Flash over towards a long, perhaps. I'm not sure what they're going to do with that info. Is this just going to be a jiggle peek or what? I mean, Purring Prowlers, just looking at the radar, it definitely seems that they want to end A, but I think they should just wait for their cat players before they actually do that. Okay, no. They're doubling back. I'm not exactly sure why they decided to take it over towards B here, but I suppose it's not exactly the wrong call. You see Lift has rotated in towards CT, and although there isn't a smoke watching mid B anymore, easily another one could go out and he could just be stuck in this area. So lots of good things going for Purring Prowlers at the moment here. They find the first pick yet again. Mac will have to shut down this push entirely, but he only gets one kill before he's quickly traded out. Ball every day is going to be the next to fall, most likely, as they walk into the guillotine that is known only as Nana. He finds two, and a 1v3 for AJ means that basically he has no choice but to save this AWP for a rainy day. But the forecast is looking very, very gloomy at the moment. A high chance of rain means that, again, just go ahead and save the gun. You're not going to get anything done here as much as he would hope to create a highlight clip out of this one. The bomb's already far ticked. He doesn't have a kit. And the money for his team isn't exactly going to look pretty either. Being able to have that 3,400 in a pocket means that there's going to be another M4 on the board for ECG to make this possibly one last hurrah for the CT side. But an 8-7 guaranteed is already pretty confident, I have to say. I mean, heading into this game, I was a little bit confused on what to expect, but Purring Prowlers definitely seems to have bounced back after their initial pitfall that they're walking into. And also their last match versus Savants, where they lost 9-16. They have recovered in that regard, and are going to be trying to pull out the Fnatic strats. I kind of like it, though. And, oh my lord, is AJ actually trying to peek this? This man absolutely has no fear whatsoever. The CT buy is very fearful, though. I mean, 2 Deagles. Just try your best to hit some crazy shots, but it's really going to be rough to convince Purring Prowlers. They have been at least hitting their shots in recent times here. And speaking of which, it'll actually be AJ to drop first. That is probably one of the worst people you could have had downed first, especially when he was one of the players who was always like last remaining on the server. Luckily, they pick up the AWP, so at least give it a little bit more of a shot. They're not quite done with the sniper just yet. Purring Prowlers still, though. With a man up here, again have the world in the palm of their hands, and they can take this wherever they wish. Seem to be wanting to go over towards Cat, and it's a right read on the situation as well. Smokes, nades, everything starts coming through here. Nana, pretty much the only person that they have to worry about is going to be Mac and Ball every day. And speaking of which, the latter will find a kill onto the first here. The second, not quite there, but I think Mac will be able to trade it out in case he isn't. He's always there to show up in the server. Again, that's all he's going to be able to find, but a 2 versus 2. ECG, there's no reason that they shouldn't go for this here. Evelynite has now a pretty monumental task on his hands. A 1 versus 2, both players low on HP, far from impossible, but not exactly looking incredibly likely either, especially when Hornet can hit shots like that. I'm fired. Hit shots like that. Oh boy. I forgot to do my vocal warm-ups. Is it showing, guys? Hit shots, not the other way around. 7-8. I mean, although it's been a very competitive first half, it hasn't been exactly the most melodramatic. You haven't had to see crazy, solo efforts. I mean, really, the main people that we've seen have crazy solo efforts would actually be ECG. I mean, players like Hornet had some incredible rounds, especially towards the end of that there. Got that retake off perfectly and really hit that super vital shot that they needed to onto Evelynite. Might not always be the most flashy, but it's a highlight in its own way. Pretty sure ECG, more than they care about dot clips, just want that 7-0 record. They're dangerously close to it now. Only need to find 8 more rounds. They need to double up what they currently have, and considering they have the lead heading onto the historically T-sided map of D2, it doesn't look exactly that daunting for them whatsoever. A missed Xbox smoke, though, could potentially throw a wrench into the plans of things here, and I don't believe Mac is actually alive at the moment here. That is absolutely absurd that he's still kicking in this one here. Hell, he could have died to that flashbang right there, but it looks like everybody else will be dying by other means here. Nana finds a double. It's an absolute slaughter on the A bomb site at the moment. Surprisingly, the first to get tagged down to 1 point of health is the last one standing, the last one to be slaughtered. And into the meat grinder, ECG go. Those pistols do absolutely nothing against the Prowlers. They seem very, very well equipped with those USPs, and they will show off their prowess with it. The Purring Prowlers will show off their prowess. Fun little tongue twister for you right there. ECG. Just going to be going for a pop play in towards B at the moment here. Don't really need to break out the playbook whatsoever. Just try to get that bomb down. A little bit more money means that they can afford a lot more on round number 3, but it's getting shut down in the matter of just a couple of seconds. Hornet, the only one to find a kill, I believe, so far. Never mind, Ball Everyday also found one. Kind of the expected result from this one, though. Purring Prowlers have just been granted an M4 into their hands, though. So much needed upgrade against a much needed buy from ECG. This is where things can get a little bit dicey for the CT side. Because, I mean, a bonus round situation like this is always so worrying. Like, I'd argue that the third round of every half is probably the scariest one. Because the other team will be able to fully invest into it while you're still kind of on those, like, guns. You know, you're on the FAMASas, you're on the Scouts. And so it can be tough to deal with it sometimes, you know? I mean, considering ECG are still breathing down the necks of the CTs at the moment here, any round really does matter a lot, and ECG are still continuing to go absolutely blisteringly fast over towards the A bomb site this time around. But look at the damage. It's absolutely unbelievable. They're all dying. They're all in dire need of healthcare, of life support at the moment, but it's nowhere to be found. A 3 versus 3, but Purring Prowlers can most definitely pull this one off. It's not even a question. That nade right there, that Ball Everyday has, there's no way he should ever give it to the CT side at the moment. Speaking of nades going through, it's going to be Evelynite to find the first kill with the HE in question. There's that cleanup that I was talking about, and the CTs deal with it just perfectly. Oh my lord, that damage was absolutely suffocating. That is actually, like, just next level. I said that this was going to be an incredibly difficult round for, well, I wouldn't say incredibly, but a more difficult than usual round for them to deal with. But they dealt with it just about as perfectly as you could. Doing so much damage on their way to the graves. Just basically opened up opportunities for the remainder of the players on that retake. And because of that, they were able to get out nearly flawlessly. 2 players drop. ECG, again, will be buying up into this one. Very, very, very little utility expended. Makes this a very scary buy. And will break their economy for the next couple of rounds if they don't win this one. Especially if they don't win this one in convincing fashion. And Gable could be the one to do it to him. Holding behind the smoke at the moment. Why does he do that? Why? Why did you do that? Oh my lord, he just gave away his position. Oh, Jesus Christ, that is terrible. Well, okay, apparently Nano will get a kill in response, though, with the mollies. I don't know why Gable tossed that out. That gave away his position just for absolutely no reason. I think he saw the legs, which is why he decided to do that, but I feel like just trying to let the smoke fade probably would have been a safer way to secure a kill, but hey, hindsight's 20/20. Again, they're 5-1 in the season. I am basically the exact opposite. And though I gotta say, has been really making this a solo effort. First found that kill with the Molotov, you know, just trying to trade out the teammates and held down that A bomb site almost entirely. Speed was there to help. Banana again stole all the glory with that Kronk avatar. They are cronking out rounds. And this is like worst case scenario for ECG too, right? Like if they lost this round, which was a gamble in of itself to actually force up AK-47s and light util, then their money is going to be absolutely demolished. Nana gets a 4K there. I feel like they're the player to point out in this scenario. I mean, partially solo effort. Probably the first big solo play that we've seen all game, but I mean, ECG, that was a round that they so desperately needed to win, and not being able to actually win it spells disaster. They need to be very, very careful on how they tread for these next couple of rounds, or else they could be finding themselves up against match point sooner rather than later. Same hold from Purring Prowlers, though. Keep up that default, keeping one player sitting up on top of the site. They've given up long control for the most part here, and I think ECG have started to sniff that out. We'll be tossing out flashes and trying to push up with these pistols. And the rotates are already starting to come through. Speed should be able to deal at least with one player here, but he needs to be careful on how much he peeks, especially when he's going to miss a shot. Oh, Lord, this just opens him up for a world of opportunity. Gable will find the first kill. Now for the potential slaughter that we're going to be in for here. An absolute massacre over at A-Long at the moment, as ECG are just unable to find absolutely anything. They're not given a shot at this, and really, what can they do at this point here? You see Lift is watching the back at the moment, finds one kill. AJ surprisingly gets another. How are they actually making this one work? I don't get this. What is this game? There's no rules to it. Bomb can be picked up. They can rotate over towards B if they want. Maybe have a little bit more of a fighting chance. Ball every day is about as good as dead. Never mind. They just allow him to cross, I guess. And Evelynite pushing it over towards B. I don't know, man. Again, there's no rules to this game. ECG kind of seemed all over the place right there. They had a good thing going when they found those initial picks over towards A. I wouldn't say initial, those trade-out kills over towards A. And it still continues to be promising over towards the A-bomb site. Now, ball every day. M4 in hand will be choosing to bring it out with the Desert Eagle. Gable is tagged down. Oh, my lord. Gable, you need to stay alive at the moment. Unfortunately, he can't. And Evelynite will have to do it all by his lonesome here. Looks like he's lagging in the server, but hopefully his brain isn't lagging as well. He'll need to pull this off because this would be such an embarrassing way to lose a round. Cinching ever closer to it, though. Ball every day will eventually put the final nail into the coffin. ECG strike right back with an equal round win. Who would have thought I'd be saying that after that complete mess of a round we saw? I don't exactly know. It's a strange world that we're living in sometimes, isn't it? That's just the magic of ESEA Open. Again, that's what we can just chalk it up to. I'm done. What are you doing? This looks like my matchmaking games, Miami J. Come on. Well, a 5v4, huh? Look at that. I'm sure ECG will be very, very happy with that. They're just going to be going ahead, try to constrict onto this B bomb site now that it's a bit weaker. ECG is just absolutely stomping over the Prowlers for these past couple of rounds. I think that's a eco win that they got, plus that TK in the beginning of this round. Basically just ruined the morale for Purring Prowlers. I still can't get over that. That was just the most unfortunate thing I've seen in a while. Jesus Christ. Nana now has to hold on to this M4 all by their lonesome. Against 5 members, I mean, thing is, East Coast Gaming, I understand if they didn't really want to go for this. Okay, never mind. This game is so strange, man. This is one of the most fun games I've had the chance of casting for a while. The second half has just been an absolute mess for Purring Prowlers, I'd say in particular. Hopefully no more TKs come through. There is no AWPs on the table, so it already looking a little bit more promising. That being said, the buy is probably the most unconfident part of this round for Purring Prowlers. ECG on the verge of being able to close things up. Find themselves in a pretty confident situation. Against nothing more than a couple of P250s. There's no armor expended. There's no nades expended. But there's a player expends for days. Hornet finds the first of possibly many. Evelynite. It's going to be the first of 5 victims. And ECG are just going to be setting up for a execute over towards B. I mean, they realize that was a pistol, right? They could probably just look for more kills here. Thing is, Purring Prowlers, they're the ones who really, really need to try to close this gap at the moment. Ball every day is in such a crazy position, but somehow gets away with 3 kills. I'll be damned that he actually gets away with that. Somehow Gable also gets away with one as well, and 11-11 just like that. A clean enough eco round. I mean, I understand what Purring Prowlers were going for there, but the fact that Ball Every Day was able to find 3 is a bit strange to me. You know, he was in a bit of a strange caught-out position as he was crossing CT, where the player on site could have just kind of played contact. I don't know. I think trying to analyze this too deep would just not exactly do anybody any favors. And it would also be rich as hell coming from a player who's 1-5 in opens. So, I mean, look. Raffle Hornet. Oh, Lord. What did Hornet do this time? I want to go ahead and keep a loving eye on him. Because at the moment, he's been one of the more impressive players in the server. Again, we also have to give big shouts to Ball Every Day, who's been doing pretty fantastic in his own rights. And, well, maybe I spoke too early. He's the first to drop in round number 23. That is really good news for Purring Prowlers, too. A first kill like that, perfectly played as well, I should have to say. I mean, they had a trade out at the ready. They were flashed in. It was a kind of a quick in and out visit like that. It's clean, and they didn't overstay their welcome whatsoever. Not only is that just big map information given, but it was just straight up clean. It was a great duel, and they need more like that. If they can try to continue it from the rest of this round, though, that's a different question entirely. It's not looking awfully good for them, though, because it's already going to get put back into 4 versus 4 as the next kill goes away of Lift. There's still a player over towards Car. How have no one killed Evlenite yet? There we are. Hornet will eventually find the kill, find the conversion. He was 360ing when he entered B last round. How did I not see that? What? Holy shit. I'm missing out. I'm just blind, apparently. Obviously, Purring Prowlers are going to be going for this retake here, but again, it is the B-bomb site. I honestly don't feel like this is going to work out for them. Yeah, especially since Lift is coming from behind. It's over. I mean, thing is, that was just a brilliantly played post-play. Oh, wait a second. No, don't tell me. Is he... what is going on right now? What? Hello? I'm surprised that... I mean, Nana has been really on their game, I have to say, so far, but what were they looking at? They heard shots coming from the tunnels. Didn't they? Damned if I do, damned if I don't. I don't know what's going on anymore. This has just been a really strange game. I think East Coast Gaming, I've got to be very happy about winning a 2 versus 3 like that, though. It's pretty brilliantly played by that player in towards back plat, though. I mean, it's a bit of a tough situation when you basically have to play 1 versus 3 like that, but he stayed alive for a decent amount of time. The only reason he died was a full committal from the CTs. Speaking of which, a full committal over towards long for the CTs will actually end up with one of them dying right off the bat. Bomb is already planted, so I think this is one of those times where ECG, they read what Purring Prowlers... What is going on? How are they dropping players? What is... Like, how? How are they just dying? I don't understand anymore. I mean, they have the bomb down. They win the round anyway. But the fact that these pistols, soon to be M4s, have actually done so much damage is a marvel to look at. It's going to be 13-11, but this was far, far from an unsuccessful round from the Prowlers. They can be really, really happy with the net benefit that they made out of this, and I mean, hell, 4 kills down, that is pretty much as perfect as you can get. Yeah, I mean, sure, they have kills, but they don't exactly have the rounds to back it up. They're starting to really run out of steam here. 3 rounds away from winning this. East Coast Gaming are basically on the brink of closing this one out and improving to that ever-coveted 7-0 scoreline. Or record in the season, I should say. Good flash out. Ball Every Day is aware of it, though, and just tries to jiggle peek, expecting perhaps an op, of which are actually 2 on Purring Prowlers, but neither of them are over towards long. Actually, it posted up over towards mid and B here. So surely Evlenite is just going to try to act as a B anchor for the time being here, while the rest of his teammates just try to push up over towards Cat. And that could actually be a very good change for them. Gable with a perfect double kill onto both Lift and Hornet. Those are 2 really big guns down, and I'd argue one of the most important to have taken down at this point here, especially since they're going to be the ones to really worry about over towards Catwalk. That being said, the 2 remaining players on the server have done a decent job of putting themselves in a comfortable position. Speed able to find information onto the player lurking over towards site here, while AJ is going for something a little bit more, gets traded 1 for 1. It's up to Ball Every Day. Look at that smoke. That was thrown out from Purring Prowlers, though. Not exactly sure what their ultimate goal with that was, but ends up not working out into their favor. Poor little Ball Every Day is absolutely burned out. And eventually the round will go the way of the Prowlers. I mean, Gable, how can you not think of him as basically the MVP of that round? It was a brilliant double kill that he found. Just pushing out over towards Cat. Some of those strange solo plays right there. Like, really, I feel like Catwalk is probably the most underutilized part for the CTs at the moment here. I'm thinking back on those two, that round previously where they're able to find two when they were ready to trade each other out, and they flashed each other in, just both got out for free. That was a free 4 versus 5, and okay, East Coast Gaming, they missed their smokes. Interesting. That means Xbox isn't actually going to be accounted for. Could lead to a bit of disaster, perhaps over towards mid. Miami J, what does he spot? Nothing, really. Know that there's going to be player quick over towards Cat, and you see the response coming through. Look at this. Gable again at the ready this time, sitting behind the smoke. Gable, don't shoot through the smoke this time. I saw what happened when he tried to do that previously. Didn't look too good. I think ECG realized that maybe the B side is probably going to be their best bet at the moment here, since they've been struggling with A in recent history and are just going to try to take it over, set themselves up in a comfortable spot for a post plant. A 4 versus 2, though, doesn't exactly inspire confidence, especially with Miami J basically just at the ready. I don't know what that flash does exactly. They're searching for more oh, lordy. I like this. This is so risky, though. Look at this. Miami J is about to have probably the perfect opportunity to ruin the hopes and dreams of ECG at the moment here. Still looking for a boost. The CTs are playing this very passive. I have to respect it. I really want to see my MJ get this, though. Oh, wait. Oh, my lord. This is so awkward. Oh, my god, they haven't spotted each other. They actually give up on the boost here. They don't have the bomb, though, so, I mean, the round's over. Poor Miami J. Oh, lord, he was holding that angle for so long. He falls. Again, round over, but at least AJ dies before time. I suppose we have that going for him. Chalk that down as a win in the Purring Prowlers book, though. It's an even game yet again. An attack pause coming out from ECG. Interesting time to do it. Better late than never, I suppose. This is the first time in a while that they've actually met some turbulence. They have 2 rounds of loss bonus coming through, so they're going to be making 2,400 if they were to lose this one as well. Not quite enough to inspire a buy. ECG, I mean, realistically, let's see, what could they do here? Probably just a half buy, I would imagine. You know, Lift and Ball Every Day could easily pick up either AKs or Galils if they wanted to. They're going to force up. They really want to try to make the stream happen here. I don't exactly disagree with their assessment of it, but they really need to make sure that Xbox smoke hits, excuse me. It wasn't exactly the killer for them in that round here, but it's been such a stable part of being able to get some early map control here that them not tossing it also gives away a lot of what they're trying to pull off. And with them not smoking Xbox here, kind of gives away that they want to try pushing out over towards long. Nana is quickly at the ready, finds 2, with a response of 3. The kill feed is filled with yellow, and ECG take it right back into their hands here. 3 versus 2, smoke going across Evelynite and Miami J, both in very awkward positions too. A double smoke to cover the cross here, and right now, Purring Prowlers, they gotta rotate. I mean, they have to play retake here. There's basically nothing they can do other than try to play it slow, wait for these smokes to end up dissipating. They have no more nades to work with. ECG, I mean, this is basically their round to lose. Well, we'll have to actually see if they do it here. Lift is almost in a perfect position at the moment here. Oh, Ball Every Day is in a better one, apparently. Close it out. A quad kill for him. I feel like I haven't been calling out Ball Every Day nearly as much as I should, but he's 27 and 15 at the moment here and has been doing absolutely incredible. That quad kill is no exception. Almost single-handedly puts ECG on 14, and just like that, back to square one for the Prowlers. They have that AWP to work with, 2 M4s as well, but this buy echoes a lot of what we saw from last round from ECG. But what's really going to be on the table for them here? What are their realistic expectations? Again, Cat has been relatively good for them. Hornet is going to be playing some soccer over towards here. He's going to be actually looking for the goal here. Hornet, oh, he gets it over towards a ramp at the moment. Look at that. Brilliant cardio coming out from Hornet here. Even though it's quarantine time at the moment here, he is still getting his exercise done. Probably the most interesting thing we've seen so far. Hornet continues up to 23 kills, but how many goals does he truly have, though? Oh, goal! He gets it in over towards tunnels. Anyway, With that out of the way, East Coast Gaming seem to be setting up for a mid-B split at the moment here. Typical flash through, but interesting to note, Evelynite, his position is kind of a one-and-done scenario here, but if he can escape into the smoke, perhaps could stay alive for a little bit of time. Oh, he's so damn sneaky. Okay, never mind, he's spotted. All right, well, apparently Miami J is going to be able to pull off a nice little play in the meantime, though. Get two of his own, and Speed actually on the cross finds a double of his own as well. What is going on? I thought the round was done when I saw Hornet get that entry after having some fun with the football or soccer ball, whatever you want to say. But Speed just comes in with two. Miami J stays alive for just so long, and hell, the round was nearly over right there. What is... ESEA Open is a treat. It's an absolute treat at the moment. We're going to be seeing the full 30. And Purring Prowlers are going to win the round that they most likely should not have whatsoever. If you want to like actually try to critically analyze, I mean, I suppose I could criticize the approach of what they're taking over towards B. They had one player boosted on top of the box. And really from there, just kind of hoped that they would kill out Miami J. When they didn't get those shots through, they basically just took the L. Speed really kind of nailed it in the coffin, though. Finding that double kill was absolutely heroic and changed it completely. Another bad omen, perhaps. They seem to be wanting to push in over towards the A bomb site at the moment. Have spotted some of these players, especially over towards Cat, but really actually have a hard time hitting the shots. They do get them through. What is... Spec, show X-ray? Let's see, show... God, what's the X-ray command again? I don't remember. Well, hell if I know here. They still want to go for it, X-ray or not here. This is the player POV at the moment. Ball every day. Gonna try to be at the ready. Has he spotted much of anything, though? He hears plenty. I just don't exactly think the shot is going to be there for him here. Hornet will find the first coming up from Catwalk. Miami J will go down, and the spray isn't quite through to actually find the second. Evelynite going to be tossing down a smoke onto the bomb here. Actually go ahead and stick it. Ball every day now has a world to actually go for here, and just barely will be able to pull it off. Ball every day. Couldn't be closer if he tried to script it. 15-14 for them now. Barely staying in this one. God. What is the spec? Show X-ray 1. There we are. Oh my lord. Anyway, we're good here. A little bit of time to perhaps gather ourselves before heading into the possible final round of this match here. Definitely going to be the last of regulation, whether you like it or not. But I think East Coast Gaming, I mean, they played that pretty decently for the most part. Towards the end there, it got a little bit shaky. It's some of these, like, extended fights that seem to be hurting them the most. You know? They were just kind of prodding, it seems, a little bit over towards the CT spawn in particular. And while they were able to get that trade out towards the very end, Evelynite, I mean, he nearly got away with a smoke defuse that absolutely should not have happened. Again, one of those rounds where it couldn't be closer if you tried to predict it. Purring Prowlers just nearly found 15, but lose it by a second, was it? Too close for comfort, wherever it was. Now 14-15. East Coast Gaming on the verge of closing this one out here. This will be tied for actually their closest game yet. ECG have won pretty much all their games in a dominant fashion, save for a 16-14 that they had against... I forgot what their team name was as well. It was something like Lost 12-3. Or something like that. But either way, he seemed to be fully confident in closing out this game right now. Spawning a player on the A cross. AJ will be first one pushing in here with Mac at the ready as well. They're playing so much more confident in these past couple of rounds here, searching for kills aggressively over towards the ramp, and it's working out to them almost perfectly. I mean, so much quicker than we've seen almost anything so far in this game here, and because of that, it's going to be a very one-sided finish. Definitely more of what I was expecting out of East Coast Gaming, to be completely honest. I mean, they're 7-0 in the season now, and a lot of that has been off those really confident duels that they're taking. So, you know, fair play to them here. They ended up closing it out. Definitely closer than expected at a lot of points, but a win's a win nonetheless here. And again, that 7-0 scoreline is what they're now staring down the barrel of. Commiserations to Purring Prowlers, though. They played them close, had their fair share of interesting rounds, especially from Gable and Nana in particular. Also, big shout out to Speed for that crazy shot over towards B. But for the most part, ECG, they did overall perform better as a team. I think the scoreline actually does reflect how close the game was, and I don't know. It was a treat to watch. That's going to be it for me, though. Thank you guys all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please feel free to follow me on my Twitter or my Twitch. And my Twitter is going to be at ItoKP, and my Twitch is Ito_TV. Thank you again for watching. We'll see you very, very soon. Later.